Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about Brassin set from Eduard, and this is a 148 resin set. As you can see, it's a Spitfire Mk.I cockpit, so it should be handy with recent plastic kit from Eduard as well. And I hope you remember that the original plastic was quite detailed in terms of interior in the pilot workspace, but some others want to see more, so that's the kit which should add more details into the workspace of the pilot. As you can see, it's full of resin, and of course we have a commercial sample here, so it will be interesting to see what is actually supplied here. So first of all, packaging is standard, and you can see the 3D render of the parts on the top, on the box art if we can call it so, and box is surprisingly thin as you can see, and on the rear side we have address of the manufacturer, some safety advices, and of course Eduard website where you can actually get this set. And by the way, the set number is 648578, so if you would like to get it, just type in this number and you will find it immediately. So it's sealed with a sticky tape. I'm going just to cut it through, and by the way, here we have a small sign of the Czech Air Forces, if you can see it. Okay. And next, just give me a second. I'm not sure what is this. Okay. Anyway, so here we have all resin parts, and as you can see, it's quite tight package. And frankly speaking, it is surprising because it's not typical for Eduard, but here we have all necessary parts. So we are going to start with this plastic bag. I'm going to open it right now and we will check everything closer. There are a lot of small parts, so let's not forget that this is a 148 scale. And we are going to start with the cockpit floor, so here it is. Let's zoom in as much as we can so that you can see all the parts closer. Next we continue with the bulkhead here, and some parts are really thin, so it should benefit the overall cockpit appearance because still you can't copy the same thickness in the plastic parts. So for example, on the pilot seat you can see here, let's wait until camera will focus. Yeah, now you can see, so these side walls of the pilot seat are almost translucent. You can see it through the light, so that's something you can't get in the plastic kit. And that's not that the plastic is bad, it's because the molding technologies won't get you such thickness. And that's actually the important advantage of resin. Even today in 2020, still you have to resort to resin parts if you would like to see such features. Here we continue with more parts. For example, we have oxygen bottles here, and they're casted as a single piece part, so basically you have two as one. Next we also have a control stick here, and note that it is casted in a way that we have connection points all along the part, so be careful while separating it. Next we continue with another control element here. I'll place it here. One more thing is a frame which holds pilot seat in place. Here it is. It is also quite thin part, and you can see comparison with my fingertip. It's also really small, so be ready to work with tweezers because otherwise it will be almost impossible to get all these tiny bits into the right place. As you can see, some bottles, oxygen bottles, are really small. Here we have a rudder stick, which is also thin. And what is also interesting is that we have two versions of the pilot seat. Here is another one. So as you can see, the lower section differs from what we saw on the previous one. So that was part R5. Here we have R75, and here you can check them together. So there are minor differences even on the back side. So be sure to use the right one because it all depends on the particular aircraft you decide to copy in your build. Next we continue with the second plastic bag. So here we get slightly bigger parts. Here they are. These are cockpit parts and bulkheads, so I will show them in a second. And they're really thin, so just give me a moment. Here is the first one. Next we continue with cockpit walls, and cockpit walls are really impressive. I mean, you can see how many features are pre-casted, let's say, on this part, so it's really nice what we get here out of the box. The same goes for the instrument panel, And of course you are free to choose the one with plain surface if you would like to use the PE parts. By the way, with this bulkhead you have to cut off or cut out this resin flash in the middle because it was a throughout section, so there should be basically a hole. It shouldn't be closed. We also have separate cockpit door here, so it will be handy in case you would like to copy the open cockpit on your aircraft. Here we continue with another bulkhead. Some thin parts here, and they're really thin, so I will move them like this so that you can see. Next we continue with rear armor here, and few small parts here and there. So here's the one, it's almost invisible, so I will place it here, and one more here, and another two here. So be careful with this really tiny pieces, because as you can see it should be easy to lose them, and then it will be really difficult to find them, to get them in the carpet, for example. It will be total nightmare, and the joke about carpet monster will be really not that funny anymore. Okay, so we have all resin parts reviewed. I will carefully move them aside, because next we also have PE fret and decals. So just give me a sec. We have pre-painted PE fret with glazing over the dials. Here it is, and I hope you can see the glazing as well. So that's really cool. We have two types of the dashboard or instrument panel, so you will be able to pick the one which is suitable for your particular version of Mk.I. And by the way, Eduard released in their recent info magazine a really useful article about differences between these various versions of the Spitfire, so I recommend to check it because you'll find some handy information. Here we have small film for the target side, and for these people who don't want to use PE instrument panel, here we have decals sheet, which carries decals for instrument panel and also some stencils which will have to be applied on the model anyway. And of course decals are printed in Eduard, so printing quality looks completely fine. Okay, so that's not all, because we also have assembly manual. This one is surprisingly big. Here it is, so let's zoom out. Now you can see that it's a typical Brassin brochure, and on the first page we have a small parts map, but on the next page it will be a bit tricky to show it to you because of this bending. But as you can see, assembly process starts with the instrument panel, so there are two versions, and of course you can choose between PE and decals version. Next we continue with one more paper here. So here we work on the pilot seat and also target side, and start applying various elements on the cockpit walls. On the next page you can see the bulkheads installation and various wiring, which will be copied with PE parts obviously. And that's not all, because next we continue with seat belts here. We join cockpit walls together, then you modify some parts on the plastic parts for the fuselage. And here on the opposite side you can see actually the process of installation. So all in all, you won't have to modify original plastic, and that's really cool because basically it's ready to be installed straight away out of the box. And here on the back side, or rear side, I wanted to say it all together. So we have a parts map, and we also have colors chart here, as well as address of the manufacturer in case you would like to visit them. So this set should be already available, and in case you plan to build Spitfire Mk.I, definitely consider getting this cockpit set, because it will be a really decent upgrade for your Spitfire. And of course I will be happy to hear your opinion in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye!